I'm gonna go live. I'm going live on YouTube right now. So if you guys want to see my screen, head over there. We're gonna talk about crypto in general, like we always do every week. But I'm gonna get it going on my TV. I'm assuming it's gonna be on Fox. So when it goes live, I will, we'll go from there. So when it goes live on Fox, I'm hoping it's gonna be on Fox. I'd be shocked if it's not. Otherwise, I'm sure we can find it on YouTube somewhere. So maybe I'll just go to YouTube. That might be easier to find it there, actually. I'll just search for Trump rally. So how's it going, guys? I will look at Bitcoin here in a second, but I'm just getting set up right now, and we'll get started. Elon? What about Elon? Elon Musk? Trump? Donald Trump. So, all right, let me search for Trump rally. All right, here we go. All right, let me see. So when that goes live, we'll look at that in a second. In the meantime, I will flip my camera background so you guys can see the screen on TikTok. But yeah, so let's go and look. Okay. It's already happening. Hold on, let me see. This is, we'll look at that in a second. So it's already happening. Trump coin is now up 50% in the last few minutes. So we'll see. I could see you are as a mayor in a small... What? What does that even mean? Okay, so I have a position in Trump coin. There are multiple Trump coins. Make sure you buy the right one. This Trump coin that I'm going to show you here in a second has a market cap of right now, it says $264,000. There's another Trump coin that you guys do not want to buy because their liquidity, because they can unlock their liquidity within the next month or so. I don't know the exact time frame that they're going to do that, but that does unlock. That Trump coin is up 60% in the last few minutes. This is what I was waiting for. I was a little worried coming into tonight that we weren't going to get a major move because all day it was flat. I guess it was a calm before the storm. So we're going to watch both of these tonight. The other Trump coin that I'm recommending you don't buy, the market cap's going to change, but right now market cap is just over, it's $1.1 million. The one I think you guys should buy is the Trump coin is now at 30. We're so close to an all-time high. It's pumping like crazy. We are now up 70% on the last hour. So I'm very excited about that. That is looking really good. I got to get rid of those notifications. I'm going to go over to this, make sure that the link I posted is coming. Where's that? So, what is this guy saying? Oh, okay, here's the reason, puppy. Someone just called out Trump coin in another group, so I'm not, that's good for us. I got to update Telegram on my computer. So, let me go out to the 4-hour chart. If you guys want to see my screen, I am live on YouTube, Crypto Boss Andrew, so go over and check it out there. Yeah. So the all-time high for Trump coin right now, or when it first came out, is 35.2. We're at 29.5 right now, so this is looking really good. I do have a pretty big position in Trump coin. I'm like one of the top holders. I'm not like top 10 or anything, but I'm one of the top holders. So I'm pretty excited about what's going on here. My entry price was 13, basically we'll call it 14 if you want to round up. So I'm up 2.5 times my money. So I'm happy about that. We'll see how high it can go. I think when it makes an announcement, it's going to crush an all-time high. We have just now hit 31 on that. So that is looking just great. So obviously this is exciting. Trump hodl the FTC. So, if you guys have a request, that was my timer that this is about to happen. If you guys have a request besides Trump coin, I'll try to look at it. Maybe I should try to do that before before everything gets absolutely crazy. It's going to be, we'll see what happens. When it hits a new all-time high, I'm going to go berserk. So right now, let's try and go look at Bitcoin so I can do my normal live stream before we have 10, 15 minutes before it goes live. And usually they're late, so we'll see. So let's go over to Bitcoin. I'm going to get Bookmap going. We're going to try to do a little bit of a normal live stream here, and then I'll get started. So Bookmap's loading right now. Bitcoin is currently sitting at $16,800. Let me go to the daily chart. I don't want to be on the weekly chart. And we can see that we're getting some support at 16.4. But I said if Bitcoin does not get back above 17,500, I said this multiple times. If we don't get back above 17,500, the next support's like 12,500, and you have a lot of liquidity at 16.5, and you have a lot of liquidity at 14,000. So that's why I said before, we'll check if the liquidity is still in those places. But last time we were live, which would have been Saturday, that's where the liquidity was at. So let's go over and so the low that you had a few days ago for Bitcoin was 15.5. So Bookmap should be open by now. I'm going to update that. I'm going to flip the camera, and we'll get started. And like I said, we go live at 8, so if no one's watching on TikTok, I'm not surprised. All right. So right now it's saying that I'm going to put that there so you guys can see it. So right now, like I said, there's a lot of liquidity at the 16.6 area, and that's basically, we're very close to that. If I keep zooming out, let's see where the liquidity is at below that. You have a lot. You see right here, you should be able to see that. Yep, 15,500 is a lot of liquidity, confirming. I mean, it's this simple. You have more liquidity lower than you do higher. It's showing that it's very likely you're going to keep going lower. 15,000 has a lot of liquidity. And right now, it's looking like the most liquidity is at 15,000. You have a little bit, and you have quite a bit, 12.5. But 15,000 is probably the next macro stop. That's where you have the most liquidity. I'm sure when we get to 15K, we'll get liquidity probably lower, because I do think, like I said, the next support is not until 12,500. So, yeah, 15,000 is very possible. We see that soon. Daily chart's trying to round out, but you're also not, here's the thing. You're not getting a major bounce. Now, what I do like to see is the RSI is completely oversold, looking for a bounce, but it's clearly a lower low, so they're trying to still down on the macro time frame. The 4-hour chart, you can see the 4-hour chart is completely overbought for Bitcoin, and you not break a previous high, confirming probably we are going to keep going lower for Bitcoin. And right now, 1-hour chart is confirming that too. Although I will say this, the 1-hour chart is almost completely oversold, making a higher low. So 1-hour chart looks bullish, 4-hour chart looks bearish, and the daily chart is trying to look bullish, but you're not getting a major bounce, and I would like to see that. And like I said, you have to get above 17,500. If you can't do that, it's game over. That's where the 200-day moving average is. If you can't get above that on Bitcoin, you're bearish. And then, of course, if you break that, you'd want to get above the next resistance, which is 18,600. So until you get at least above 17.5, I would say Bitcoin is probably going to eventually see lower targets of 15,000 and lower. So that's it for Bitcoin in a nutshell. I'm unfortunately long-term bearish on 1-hour chart. Looks bullish to me. The 4-hour chart does not, so you could see a small bounce tonight. But beyond that, I'm still looking for more downside on that. And now Trump coin having a little bit of a pullback. I think the reason it just mooned right now was because there was a huge call-out group. It did make a higher high for the day. The previous one was this morning at 31 or 32. And you went to 32.5 just now. But I believe there's a call out group. Let's kind of look at the prices and kind of see, or the buys, I should say. So you had a 1.3 ETH sell to get the pump. You had just a lot of volume is spiking up, of course, as we expected. So we'll see. Yep. So that's I mean, if guys are looking to buy, here's your time. Here's your dip. Show a close up of Trump coin and say the name exactly where to buy it. Other Trump coins I couldn't figure out. So the way you know is go to Dex Tools and you see the market cap is 205,000. If it's around that, that's the right coin. If you guys do not know, I will put it in my Telegram group. I have a Telegram group. If you guys are watching on YouTube, it will be in my YouTube description. Otherwise, it's also in my bio on TikTok. And then I will post, if you guys just ask me to post it, and I will post the contract address if you guys still don't know. Otherwise, it's called Trump coin. The other one, this is the other one. This is called Welcome Back Trump. This has a market cap of around $1 million. So the smaller market cap coins are one to buy. If you want me to, I can put the contract address in my Telegram group. That would be one way to do it. But otherwise, you can just look at the market cap and pretty much know. So that'd be one way to do it. So there's your close up. And like I said, you can buy you can buy on Uniswap is where I bought it. And I use Coinbase Wallet for that. Probably doesn't really matter, but that is what I do personally. If you guys have any requests for other coins before this thing goes crazy, let me know and I'll look at other coins. But beyond that, I just want to look at Bitcoin really quick, look at Trump coin. I think this is going to start doing crazy things pretty soon here. Whoops. So Trump right now is walking in, so probably momentarily he actually might be live. Well, it's 8:01 right now. He might be live here in the next few minutes, so we'll see what happens. I'm just going to leave this like this for TikTok. Hopefully that helped you to figure out which one to buy. Wow, the next president is what they're saying. They're already expecting him to win.
Out that he goes to Georgia or that he uses all of the influence he can to try and make sure we win that Senate seat, because it's critical for the next 2 years. It's the most important thing that we need to do, especially for the next 3 weeks.
Let's get your take, Pete Hegseth.
Sean, how many times has Donald Trump been counted out? And how many times has he overcome the naysayers? He is the center of the America First movement, has been since he announced in 2015. This is a huge speech for him. He's got to cast a vision for the future, talk about why his leadership is needed in America more today, provide the contrast with the disaster of Joe Biden. He's got the biggest of stages and an opportunity to announce yet again. And the Republican Party, which he remade, is one he wants to lead again. And tonight we're going to get a chance to hear him make that case.
Well, he's certainly laying down a marker, and that he is in. And, whether other people get in or not, Pete, I guess it's anybody's guess. I think the Republican Party, I think it's likely that other people will probably try to go up against him in a primary. But anyway, it looks like he's going to the podium. No, maybe not. He's walking past the podium. But one thing that I think nobody really seems to understand when you look at anybody that's running for president, we don't know what it's going to be like in 2024, Mike Huckabee. And if the economy stinks and the world is on fire, who knows what will happen. Here's Donald Trump.
Right.
When you look at anybody that's running for president, we don't know what it's going to be like in 2024, Mike Huckabee. And if the economy stinks and the world is on fire, who knows what will happen. Here's Donald Trump.
So I don't know what's going on. You guys can't see the screen on YouTube, so I don't know why it's doing that. So I'll just leave it on this screen. And if you guys want to watch the rally, it will be on TikTok. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, but he's about to start talking. I don't know what's going on. You guys can't see the screen on YouTube. So it's really weird. What's going on?
Myself and our entire family. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. It's a very special occasion at a very special place. You and all of those watching are the heart and soul of this incredible movement, the greatest country in the history of the world. Very simple. There has never been anything like it, this great movement of ours. never been anything like it, and perhaps there will never be anything like it again. There's never been anything to compete with what we have all done. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and my fellow citizens, America's comeback starts right now. 2 years ago, when I left office, the United States stood ready for its golden age. Our nation was at the pinnacle of power, prosperity, and prestige, towering above all rivals, vanquishing all enemies, and striding into the future, confident and so strong. In 4 short years, everybody was doing great. Men, women, African Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, everybody was thriving like never before. There was never a time like this. We turned the page on decades of globalist sellouts and one-sided trade deals, lifted millions out of poverty, and together we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. When the virus hit our shores, I took decisive action and saved lives and the U.S. economy. And by October of the same year, America was roaring back with the #1 fastest economic recovery ever recorded. How about that? All of the incoming administration and all they had to do was just sit back and watch. Inflation was non-existent. Our southern border was by far the strongest ever. And because the border was so tight, drugs were coming into our country at the lowest level in many, many years. Importantly, after decades of rising energy costs, the United States had finally attained the impossible dream of American energy independence, which soon would have turned into energy dominance. For the first time in memory, China was reeling and back on its heels. You've never seen that before, because the United States was outdoing them on every single front. And China was paying billions and billions of dollars in taxes
All right.
and tariffs. The farmers know that because they got 28 billion of it. No president had ever sought or received $1 for our country from China until I came along, and we were getting hundreds of billions of dollars. Many people think that because of this, China played a very active role in the 2020 election. Just saying, just saying. Sure, that didn't happen. Instead of jobs and factories leaving America for China, they were for the first time ever leaving China for America. Businesses were pouring back because of our historic tax and regulation cuts, the biggest in both categories in history, bigger even than what Ronald Reagan was able to produce. And he produced.
How's it going, Freddie?
China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea were in check. They respected the United States, and quite honestly, they respected me. I knew them well. I knew them well. The vicious ISIS caliphate, which no president was able to conquer, was decimated by me and our great warriors in less than 3 weeks, and al-Baghdadi, its founder, was hunted down and killed. North Korea had not launched a single long-range missile since my summit with Chairman Kim Jong-un nearly 3 years before. We developed a relationship, and that's a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Very good thing, actually. Just look at what's happening today. My opponents made me out to be a warmonger and just a terrible person who would immediately go into war. They said during the 2016 campaign that if he becomes president, there will never be a war within weeks. and we will have that if he becomes president, seen before. It will happen immediately, and yet I've gone decades without a war, the first president to do it for that long a period. The world was at peace, America was prospering, and our country was on track for an amazing future, because I made big promises to the American people, and unlike other presidents, I kept my promises. Thank you very much. Under our leadership, we were a great and glorious nation, something you haven't heard for quite a long period of time. We were a strong nation, and importantly, we were a free nation. But now we are a nation in decline. We are a failing nation. For millions of Americans, the past 2 years under Joe Biden have been a time of pain, hardship, anxiety, and despair. As we speak, inflation is the highest in over 50 years. Gas prices have reached the highest levels in history and expect them to go much higher now that the Strategic National Reserves, which I filled up, have been virtually drained in order to keep gasoline prices lower just prior to the election. Joe Biden has intentionally surrendered our energy independence. There is no longer even a thought of dominance, and we are now begging for energy help from foreign nations, many of whom find us detestable. Our southern border has been erased, and our country is being invaded by millions and millions of unknown people, many of whom are entering for a very bad and sinister reason. And you know what that reason is. We will be paying a big price for this invasion into our country for years to come. Hundreds of thousands of pounds of deadly drugs, including very lethal fentanyl, are flooding across the now open and totally porous southern border. The blood-soaked streets of our once great cities are cesspools of violent crimes, which are being watched all over the world as leadership of other countries explain that this is what America and democracy is really all about. How sad. The United States has been embarrassed, humiliated, and weakened for all to see. The disasters in Afghanistan, perhaps the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, where we lost lives, left Americans behind, and surrendered $85 billion worth of the finest military equipment anywhere in the world. And Ukraine, which would have never happened if I were your president, are something and even the Democrats admit that. That's something I've seen them admit over and over again. But our enemies are speaking of us with scorn and laughter and derision because of those two events. But there are many more. Even just today, a missile was sent in, probably by Russia, to Poland, 50 miles into Poland. People are going absolutely wild and crazy, and they're not happy. They're very, very angry. Now we have a president who falls asleep at global conferences, was held in contempt by the British Parliament over Afghanistan, thanks to the words of wisdom. He said thank you to the wrong country for inviting him to a major summit on the environment of all things. They fly for days to get there, and then he calls the country a name that was actually a country on another continent. And he's leading us to the brink of nuclear war, a concept unimaginable just 2 short years ago, you cannot mention the nuclear word. It's too devastating. The Green New Deal and the environment, which they say may affect us in 300 years, is all that is talked about, and yet nuclear weapons, which would destroy the world immediately, are never even discussed as a major threat. Can you imagine? They say the ocean will rise 1/8 of an inch over the next 200 to 300 years. But don't worry about nuclear weapons that can take out entire countries with one shot. Something is wrong with their thinking. Under Biden and the radical Democrats, America has been mocked, derided, and brought to its knees, perhaps like never before. But we are here tonight to declare that it does not have to be this way. It does not have to be this way. Two years ago, we were a great nation, and soon we will be a great nation again. The decline of America is being forced upon us by Biden and the radical left lunatics running our government right into the ground. This decline is not a fate we must accept. When given the choice, boldly, clearly, and directly, I believe the American people will overwhelmingly reject the left's platform of national ruin, and they will embrace our platform of national greatness and glory to America. Glory. Exactly 1 week ago, our citizens voted in the important midterm elections, and despite a ridiculously long and unnecessary period of waiting, far longer in fact than any third world country, just a short time ago, the Republicans won back control of the House of Representatives. And it was with a great Trump-endorsed candidate, Congressman-elect Kevin Kiley, who is a fantastic person, and I'm very happy it was his vote that did it. But we now won back. This happened just an hour ago. Much criticism is being placed on the fact that the Republican Party should have done better, and frankly, much of this blame is correct. But the citizens of our country have not yet realized the full extent and gravity of the pain our nation is going through, and the total effect of the suffering is just starting to take hold. They don't quite feel it yet, but they will very soon. I have no doubt that by 2024, it will sadly be much worse, and they will see much more clearly what happened and what is happening to our country, and the voting will be much different. 2024. Are you getting ready? And I am too. I do want to point out that in the midterms, my endorsement success rate was 232 wins and only 22 losses. You don't hear that from the media. And this is an elegant night and an elegant place, and I'm not going to use the term fake news media. So we're going to keep it very elegant. But you don't hear that from the media. But I think you will, because people are starting to see what happened. That's some score. And in the primaries, it was 98.6%. But they were still trying to blame me. And the reason for the success and that unprecedented success rate is that the Trump administration changed our nation on trade, on securing the border with the strongest, safest border ever in the history of our country, on Islamic terrorism. We had practically just about, not that I can think of, no Islamic attacks, terrorist attacks during the Trump administration. And in fact, we got along very well with the various countries, including coming up with the Abraham Accords. That's a great thing, the Abraham Accords. But it's because of cutting taxes and cutting regulations at the highest level ever, and on building the greatest economy. Any time in the history of the world, there's never been an economy like we had just 2 years ago. Despite the outcome in the Senate, we cannot lose hope. And we must all work very hard for a gentleman and a great person named Herschel Walker, a fabulous human being who loves our country and will be a great United States Senator. Herschel Walker, get out and vote for Herschel, and he deserves it. He was an incredible athlete. He'll be an even better senator. Get out and vote for Herschel Walker. We elected a group of incredibly talented America First leaders who will be stars of our party for many years to come. In the popular vote, another thing that's not discussed for the House, we must remember that Republicans won 5 million more votes, the largest margin in many, many years, over the Democrats. 5 million more votes. That's a big thing. Breaking the radical Democrats' grip on Congress was crucial. So in other words, because of our great congressmen and all of our great congressmen and congresswomen, we've taken over Congress. Nancy Pelosi has been fired. Isn't that right?
This is unfortunate. I want to see us pump. What's going on?
You're going to have a big victory. They say, let's win by 40 seats. Let's win by 50. I said, if you win by 2 seats, be happy. But she's on her way to another country right now. She's been fired. But we always had known that this was not the end. It was only the beginning of our fight to rescue the American dream. And it's a word you don't use. 2 words. I don't want to be, that's 2 words, American dream. That was not good what he did. There are a lot of bad things, like going to Idaho and saying, welcome to the state of Florida. I really love it. In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States. So many incredible friends and family here tonight. It's such a beautiful thing. People say, how do you speak before so many people all the time? But when there's love in the room, it's really easy to want to know the prayer. Really. You ought to try it sometime. Together we will be taking on the most corrupt forces and entrenched interests imaginable. Our country is in a horrible state. We're in grave trouble. This is not a task for a politician or a conventional candidate. This is a task for a great movement that embodies the courage, confidence, and the spirit of the American people. This is a movement. This is not for any one individual. This is a job for tens of millions of proud people working together from all across the land and from all walks of life, young and old, black and white, Hispanic and Asian, many of whom we have brought together for the very, very first time. If you look at the numbers, if you look at what's happened with Hispanic, with African American, with Asian, and just look at what's happening. This is a party that has become much bigger, much stronger, much more powerful, can do much more good for our country. This is a job for grandmothers and construction workers, firefighters, builders, teachers, doctors, and farmers who cannot stay quiet any longer. You can't stay quiet any longer. You're angry about what's happening to our country. Our country is being destroyed before your very eyes. It's a job for every aspiring young person and every hard-working parent, for every entrepreneur and underappreciated police officer who is ready to shout for safety in America. The police are being treated so badly. These are great people that can straighten out the crime. They're the ones that know how to do it. We have to give them back their respect and their dignity. This will not be my campaign. This will be our campaign all together. Because the only force strong enough to defeat the massive corruption we are up against is you, the American people. It's true. The American people, the greatest people on earth. We love them all. And we love both sides. We're going to bring people together. We're going to unify people. It's happening in the previous administration, previous to the previous. And what was bringing them together was success. Prior to COVID coming in, the people were calling me, that were calling me. You wouldn't believe it. People that were so far left, I figured they'd never speak to me and I would never speak to them. But our success was so incredible, like never before. And then COVID started coming in from China. We call it the China virus. Some people call it other things. But it was devastating and we built it back and did an incredible job. But when people say Republicans or Democrats or liberals or conservatives, I say we can all get together. And we were doing that. That was happening just prior because the success was greater than this country has ever had. We were leapfrogging China and leapfrogging everybody else, and everybody wanted a piece of it. But just as I promised in 2016, I am your voice. I am your voice. The Washington establishment wants to silence us, but we will not let them do that. What we have built together over the past 6 years is the greatest movement in history because it is not about politics. It's about our love for this great country, America, and we're not going to let it fail. I am running because I believe the world has not yet seen the true glory of what this nation can be. We have not reached that pinnacle, believe it or not.
All right, so he's announced that he's running for president. I just want to talk about this a little bit. He's announced that he's running for president. I think we all knew that coming in. Clearly, we had a little bit of a higher high just recently before he came and started talking, and now we're getting a dump. So probably what this was a buy the rumor, sell the news event. I hate to say that, but that's probably what this was. I do think this coin will, again, make a new all-time high, but right now it does look like we are in a downtrend. Let's look at the 1 hour chart. 1 hour chart has some more room to go down. And again, I don't believe this is doing TA. It's just looking at something's overbought. The 4 hour chart is looking like it's about ready to go. And I don't think we have anything more because it's still a pretty new coin. Maybe the 12 hour chart. 12 hour chart's high too. So I do think this is probably a buy long term. We'll see what happens. But yeah. So I don't think, unfortunately, tonight we're going to get the pump because I think everyone expected that he's going to run for president again in 2024. So there was, no shocker that he's running. So I was hoping for a pump. I feel like if we were going to get it, it would have been when he announced it or right before. And we did kind of get that, but I also think this was a call group that came in here and did that. So it was fun watching it. But with that being said, I will go back to my regular live stream. If there's any requests for other coins, I will look at them. Otherwise, that's kind of it. It does look like we're trying to recover. I do think we have good support around the 10 level, so we'll see what happens. But with we'll see what happens. I think now the next time this coin is probably going to do something, make a new all-time high. I think the most realistic chance would be if it doesn't happen tonight. I think that would probably be when Trump actually gets on Twitter and makes a tweet. I think when that happens, this thing will go crazy. But until then, who knows what's going to happen, right? So that's kind of where I stand with it. Unless until Trump gets on Twitter now, is probably the next big catalyst for Trump going to do something crazy. So probably short term tonight. That was the high. I hate to say it, but that probably was. But that's just what I'm believing. I'm just trying to be honest with you guys. So if there's no request, I'm going to end this. And our next time we will be live will be Saturday at 3 p.m. Central Time. So I'll put on Trump back on it for a few more minutes. And if I don't get any requests, I would say by 8:35, I'm going to end the live stream. And I'll be back live on Saturday.
It's so sad. He was a great friend of mine, but a great man, loved this country so much. But we restructured and made it a really terrific deal. And with South Korea and so many other countries. And the best of all was what we did to China. We made an incredible deal, but after COVID, I don't even bother talking about it because the devastation that caused for the entire world is too much to bear. I will ensure that Joe Biden does not receive 4 more years in 2020. Hands on. Our country could not take that. And I say that not in laughter, I say that in tears. Our country could not take 4 more years. It can only take so much. It's all very fragile to start off with. It can only take so much. In 2020, I received the largest number of votes of any sitting president in history by a lot. And we will do it again, but with even more votes this time. Many have noted the huge gains we have made with Latino voters, and I believe we will set even greater records with this crucial vote in 2024. The Hispanic voter, the Latino voter has been unbelievable. Great people, very entrepreneurial people, and they want security. And everyone thought when I did the wall, I built the wall, and they thought, oh, that would hurt me with the Hispanic vote. No, it helped me because they understood. They wanted safety. They wanted security. And they understood the border better than anybody else. So they were amazed that we started that trend, and now we're continuing with that trend. We look at what we've done in Florida, what everybody's doing now in Florida and Texas, along the border in Texas, won every single community. I won every single community. Governor of Texas called. Great gentleman, just got reelected. And he said to me, I'd like to talk to you for a second. He said, you've done something that nobody else has done. You've won every single area along the border, the longest since Reconstruction. I said, Reconstruction? I guess you call that the Civil War? That's what I call it? That's what I call it. Governor Abbott, very good man, and he's working hard.
All right, so I'm going to end the live stream because I think the hype is over. I will be back live Saturday, 3 p.m. Central Time, so hopefully I'll see you guys there. Until then, trade safe and have a great week. If anything crazy happens with Trump coin before then, I will come back live or do a video on it. Until then, that's all I got. I just want to live stream. I was hoping for a new all-time high. I didn't get that, but we got close. So I'll see you guys in the next one.